I'm getting ready for spring. I think you're going to really love this one. It's so cute. So get your paints ready. I have everything you need in the description below, and we'll get right to it and start painting. See you in a bit. All right, everybody. So hopefully you've downloaded your traceable and it's already on your paper, canvas, whatever substrate you're using. And we're going to be using probably 3 brushes here. This is a fairly simple pattern. And I have some plaid one stroke painting brushes, and there are 2 flats. One is a number 8 and the other is a 12, and then I also have a round number 1. So if you can find a couple flats, a medium and a larger one, and a fairly small round brush, that is all you need there. And I'm going to be using some craft paint today, and the colors I have is Calypso Blue, Warm White, Black, Berry Red, Yellow Light, and Plantation Pine. And those should be all the colors you'll need. You could probably find these all in Artist Grade 2. They'll be just different names, so you could get a aqua color, or a turquoise would also do. Blacks, a red of some kind, a cadmium yellow, kind of a olive green color, and you can always add a little bit of black to it and darken it, and a white. And it doesn't have to be warm white, it could be just your regular titanium white. So this one is going to have a little bit of a background, not much, but I do want to put a bit of a background because I want it to look like a campsite. So we're just going to kind of put a blurry background in. So I'm going to use some of my Calypso Blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. So I'll put some of that in here. And we're going to use green. So whatever green you have, you can use, and we'll just add a little yellow or white to it to lighten. Or if you have a light green, you can add a little bit of black to it. It's almost done. And a little yellow. And some white. So I have warm white here I'm just using up. This one's almost done. Or it might, oh, there, just a bit left. And this is going to be very loose, the background. So you can make clouds in yours, or you could have it all in different colors of green with a bit of blue peeking through. No wrong way of doing this background. Or maybe you want to use your stencils and make it kind of mixed media look to it. You could do that too. Okay. So I'll just put that there. So I have some green. And I'm just going to slap it on. So maybe there's trees back here. I'm just going to mix it up. Probably keep it a little bit darker on the bottom where there would be more types of trees. And I am going to put it around this trailer. or camper, whatever you want to call it. And you can wet your brush to make it just move a little easier. I'm using a file folder today. And I did gesso this file folder just so that I'm able to have this move a little bit easier. If you put your paint on just plain paper, you'll find that your paint really drags. It's kind of hard to move it around. I'm going to put a little bit of blue in there. Just a hint. That'll change the color too. Just mix it up. We could go back and also add tree limbs if you wanted to. Let's put a little bit of light color in there on the top. Might be a little lighter in there. I'm just mixing it on the canvas as I go. Just play with it. Like I said, there's no wrong way of doing this. A little bit of blue in there, just around the camper. A little bit of white with it. Lighten it. Just have fun with it. A little darker down here maybe. I'll paint around these signs. And you can put whatever you want on these signs. You don't have to use what's on there. You want to put maybe your street name, or maybe you got a campsite that you go to. Maybe you want to add that. Kind of like a memory. That would be cute. I'm just going to paint around these. And you could go in with a sponge even if you wanted to, and sponge things in. And that'll give it a more of a foliage look, a little more defined, but it can be fun. Just play. Okay, wiping out my brush. Okay, all right, so that is good enough. I'm going to be painting these signs on, so if it's gone over them a little bit, I'm not worried about that because we're going to paint on top. Now the little trailer home, you can paint it whatever color you want. I'm going to do two-tone, so mine is going to be a white and then the turquoise color. So I'm just going to paint in this half of it, I guess you could say. And I'm going to go over the lines that can be put in when I paint. So don't worry about missing your lines for the siding. And I'm going to take this white probably about to here, I guess. Yeah, about there. So I can still see my lines. I just got some paint on there, or blue. Well, that's all right. We'll use it anyways. Maybe it's been painted a few colors over the years. Maybe it's got moss on it. So just paint over there. And I do want to leave my window areas so I know where those are. But these I can paint over. They're not going to be too bad to put in. And I had it about to here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a white coat on there. So right to there. So right to here. Okay. And you can go back in and define the edges a little bit once that dries. Now the bottom layer is going to be that Calypso blue. So let's see, I think about here. So this is going to go on a little bit different because it's not quite as see-through. So you have to be a little bit careful along the edges. So about here. Now you could take your smaller brush if you want and use that. That. And right under here. And let's see, that's the bumper. So right into here. The bumper's kind of a gray. I thought these were cute. And right in here. Always paint over those if I go over a little bit, so I'm not too worried about it. That. Okay, and we'll let that dry. So again, it's about layers. So while that's drying, we could put on let's see. We could put the trims on. So a brown is what we want. If you have a brown, you can get that out, or an umber, and add a little bit of maybe white or yellow to it, depending on what you use. This one's called Bittersweet Chocolate. I'm just going to put it right here. Don't need a whole lot. And I'll probably use my smaller brush here. Okay. And paint in the door frame. So there's not a lot of detail in this one. So I thought it would be a really cute one for beginners. It's more illustrative. It'd be cute in gouache. You have gouache. So it's a gnome. Everybody loves their gnomes. And then we can put a little bit of wood detail on this. Just trying to get an edge on it. There we go. And on the top of the door or the window. And the little bunny ears. Oops. Now this one's not very big, but I think it's a good size for beginners to start off with. But you could enlarge it if you wanted it bigger. This would be cute for a card too. Spring card or Easter card. A little bit sticking out there. And right here, you're just seeing the top part of the sill. Little curtain bottom is wavy. There, I think that should do. Make that a little better. That. I'm going to stick this past a little bit more. Oh yeah, and we can do our post too in the same color. So do you guys like illustrative like this, or do you like more realistic paintings? I'd love to know. It helps me find stuff to paint if I have an idea what you guys like. So leave a comment in down below. That would help me out greatly. There we go. Okay. Now, I think what I'm going to do, while that's drying, I'm going to get one of my sponges just to show you what you can do if you want a little bit more detail in your background. So I have these sea sponges here. So if you just wet them to soften them up a little bit, but squeeze all the water out of them, and you can crumple them up, whatever you want to do. Change the shape too, that way you don't get a pattern. So what I think I'll do is maybe just take a little bit of this, even brown in there, with the green and the yellow. And I'm going to make some marks just here and there. Maybe it's trees in there. Add a little bit of white even if you want a little bit of a different, maybe there's some bushes in here. Like that. Get a little bit of more brown. Some more brown in there. Back in here. And you could put limbs too if you want. Okay, like that. And then you could take your small liner brush or round and add some branches. So maybe there's a tree or a bush. Maybe you just see a little bit of that tree behind the trailer. You'd see bits and pieces of the limbs going through. Here and there. Like that. Just gives it a little something else. A little bit of interest in the background. All right. So I'm going to just give that a shot of heat to make sure it's good and dry. All right. So now we're going to add a little bit of details. So we want to put some shadows on this siding. So on this top part, I'm going to add a little bit of this brown to one side of my brush. And you want to make sure you have a little bit of water on your brush, not too much. You don't want it watery. And then right underneath those lines, you want to drag your brush so that it gives this indication of a little bit of shadow. Now you could use Payne's Gray also if you want. I'm just going to use what I have on my palette. That. I just went over that bunny's ear because I know I'm going to be painting that. So it's a little easier just to go over it if you haven't painted it yet. Because that's the nice thing about acrylics. You can always go over it. And I'm going to do a little bit on that blue now. We'll see how it looks. I think it'll be good color. Yeah. I think it looks good. So let's see if I can, I think one's here. That. And let's see, one about here. This is an old trailer. It's kind of worn out and had its day. Now there is a rear tire well in here. So we want a little bit of this up. Just right in here like this. And then around the inside. Because it's old. And on the bottom here, it's old, so it's kind of worn out. Let's see, a little bit more. Right here, I missed one. It's good. I think that looks good. So you can go back and put more in if you want. I'm going to put just the slightest hint of that blue with a little bit of white. Just a smidgen. I don't want it too strong. And I'm gonna just put a little bit on the top here. And then just under that area that we put, just gonna swipe some kind of here and there. So I just want it kind of old, worn, that type of thing. Okay, and then the same with a little bit lighter blue, so just a little more blue on this, just kind of a worn look. So a little bit white on that blue. And wipe your brush off. You could just have it more or less kind of like a dry brush effect. Slightly and then over that rear tire well, put some of that there. That cute. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit more on my brush of that brown on the side again, just tiny bits, and swipe it back and forth like I've been doing. And then you could also do the side. So it kind of looks like it's worn out, tattered. It needs a paint job. Like that. You could do the same around the window too. So a little bit of that worn out look. I'm going to put some on the blue part also. I'll put a little bit more on there. So they get rusted and maybe a little on the top here and there. Dry brushing. Yeah, looks good. Okay, now the door itself is going to be white and then some marks showing that it's kind of worn out too. Needs a paint job. So I'm just putting a white coat on first. So you could straighten anything out that kind of went wonky on you. That looks good. And then again, some of that brown. And this time I'm not waiting for it to dry. I want basically on the one side where the door handle is, this color. It's kind of a, you blend it into the door so it kind of looks really worn. And we'll put the doorknob on in a minute. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put the center window there. It's brown. So we can put that in. You can put all kinds of stuff on this. If you wanted chairs in front or a picnic table, baskets, whatever you could put in there. All right, and now a little bit of black. I'm going to add some black to my palette now, and we'll use that for the tire, and there's some whatever brackets. I don't know what they're called. Where the trailer actually sits on a steel frame. So I want that black as a base coat first, and then we'll rough it up. Good. This little stand. Little stairs. That. That looks cute. All right. Now there's a little space there. I'm going to just put some of that green in. I think I need some more. Oh, I got a little bit. Right in here around that propane tank. Gotta have your propane for barbecue. And you can fix up anything around those areas. I think what I'll do, let me get my other brush. This is too soft for that. Let's see. right in here, I want a little bit of this green color. That. Now you could put all of this in before you put your pattern on, so you don't have to fiddle around stuff, but I'm going to use a little bit more green. Okay. I'm going to get a different brush out here in a minute. But I want the background of this grass done first, the base coat. That's the tire there. You can do it whatever green you have. There's no real wrong way to do this. Just put some green on there because we're going to add grass and that on top of this. So don't get too worried about the color you're using, as long as all those areas are covered. Let's get a bit of a bigger brush here, and we'll just go around here and put in some base coat of this green. It's kind of had its day. It's kind of chunky, so good thing I used it up. So one thing, acrylics can go bad. They do eventually, so you have to use them up. Let's just put a base coat on. Now, this little shape underneath is going to be either dirt or a different color of grass. A lot of times you see trailers are on a bit of a dirt area patch. So we'll do that, I think. Just give it a different look. I think I want that darker there. That. We'll let that dry, and while that's drying, let's do the little gnome. He's cute. So I'm gonna have his or her, it could be either, probably yellow and pink maybe. Yeah, let's do it yellow. And I'm gonna get maybe this will work. So I have this medium yellow here. So I'm just gonna do the clothes, shirt or whatever it is, dress, I don't know. Whatever you want this to be. And we'll paint around the little hands. And then this here is going to be bright yellow. That's the arm. Like that. Yeah. And we'll put, I don't know, polka dots on them or something. And the hat, I think I want pink. Yeah, let's do pink. So let's get our red out, and we'll just add a bit of white to it. Don't need a lot. So just make up a pink. And the little shoes are going to be pink. And they have little powder puffs on the tops, like a bunny tail. It's cute. That. Again, this is just base coat. So then I'm going to put the hat also in the pink. You can paint yours whatever color you want. So the little brim and then the hat. Just like that. Looks cute. And I'm going to add a little bit of white onto my brush and just, oh, got some red in there. Make sure you get that good and clean. Let's take that off. So a little bit of white on my brush. And I'm just going to put a kind of a highlight. You can still see through it, but a little bit of a highlight. So a little bit of a fold in her dress, so the highest part would be lighter. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the bottom here. You could probably do this with Posca too. Like that. That's cute. And let's put in, let's finish the tires. So this part here was part of the undercarriage of the trailer. And it's a little darker under here too. So it's kind of squared off. Goes across. And you can paint that whole wheel in black for now. And then we'll highlight it. Use my smaller brush. That. Alrighty, and the little propane tank also has to be done. And it's going to be a little bit on the gray side. So we can mix a little bit of white. Let's see, I'll put it over here. And just a touch of gray or black. And we can color that in. That. It's cute. All right, so now we can put, I'm going to use a little bit of this white, and I'm going to mix some yellow in it because I want to make some polka dots. But I know it's not going to show up with just plain yellow because yellow is very transparent. And then with the end of a brush, I'm just going to stick the end in that paint, and I'm going to make some polka dots on the hat. Like so. Okay. And then we'll let that dry. Let's go back to the door now. Now the door is going to have a wreath on it. So I want to, just with a very fine brush like this, small round, I'm going to take greens, different shades of green, and I'm just mixing like this. So I got two colors on my brush. And then what I do is I just tap all around with those colors. So you're using the shape of your brush to make the leaves. Just go around, keep going. Mix them up, a little darker, a little lighter. I want a fairly thick application, even some white with that will give you a different color. A little bit more of that. White. Okay. And we'll let that dry. While that's drying, let's do the bunny ears. So white. So I'll just paint these in. I'm just going to paint the whole thing in. If you went over on any of the lines, this is when you can fix it. You might have to give it a couple coats depending on the type of white you're using. Just let each coat dry though. Okay. And I'm going to take, I think I'm going to take some soft yellow and white again. But this time I'm going to make lines in the top part of the hat, or the rim. Yeah, that looks good. we can take our smaller liner or flat, and let's do some of this ground. So I'm just going to sweep it to the side like this. And if it's a little bit see-through, that's fine. You can go over top of the grass a little bit. Just have to kind of paint around her. She would have a little bit of a shadow anyways, so I'm not too worried about it being dark. That. Now you could actually tape, put some Frisket on there if you wanted to, and then you wouldn't have to worry about going over top of it. Over leg. You can always go back over and fix stuff too, though. Just dry brush around the edge a little bit. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. It's looking cute. Okay. This little recycling or propane tank, I guess. Let's make a little bit of that gray again. So just a smidge. But I want it lighter. And we'll just, right on the one side, sweep it. Like that. And then we can take a little bit of a darker color and do the same thing, but this time it'll be on this side. Okay, and then before that dries, I'm just going to extend a little bit. I got too much water on my brush of that. Just under there. And I'm going to put a little bit of white on the top as a highlight. And there might be a little bit of a highlight on the top of where it starts to round. Right there. Okay. And we can do the highlight thing also on the this black part. Like that. And in here where the tire is, like that. Looks good. A little bit of that white. And let's see. Maybe a little bit white with brown now. And we'll put some highlights. Now this is dry brushing though, so you don't want a lot on your brush. So I took most of it off. You just want it just on the very end of your brush. And then down one side, see that's still wet. Same with this. It's a dry brush. Hardly any. I haven't dipped my brush back into the paint. I'm just scrubbing with whatever is left. Like that. That looks good. Okay. Get our smaller brush again, and this time we want to put a little bit of pink in the ears. So I'm going to get a very soft pink. I don't want it to match the dress or the hat. It's just a slight pink. I'm going to add just a smidgen up, darker up here. So I just dipped my brush while it's still wet. Streak it up like that. That's cute. Okay. And there's a little bit of a fold over on the ear, so I'm going to just use a little bit of that gray again. Let's making up some more gray. I want it very light though. I don't want it too heavy. And right where it's folding, you can add white to that too and mix it so it's kind of blends in. And you can do that along the bottom of the ear too. Just a little bit of that gray. That's cute. Cute. So the inside of the windows of the door and the window is going to be a light on. So we're going to want some of that yellow again. But I want to warm it up with some brown. Now this could be tricky because a lot of times craft paint, you don't know what they're mixing it with. Let's add a little bit of and we'll just paint try and paint some of this on. You could always put the leaves back on if it's over the window. And this right here. It's not bad. So I wanted it more like a warmer yellow than a cool yellow. Good. And while that's still wet, take some white and kind of in the center here, take it, swirl it around a little bit. Same with this here. Streak it down. Not all of it, but just some of it. So it gives that impression of different light. Okay, we'll let that dry. The curtains can be, what color should we do the curtains? I don't think I want pink because there's too much pink in this area. We could go a green or an aqua, soft aqua maybe. Or we could go totally different and put a purple in. Let's do that. So I'm going to take some of this aqua color over here and some red. And I get a nice purple. So let's put this in purple. And let's lighten it a bit. Now you could put a pattern on this if you want, or you can just leave it. That. That's cute. And then a little bit more white while it's still wet. And I will make a little bit of a highlight on some of this. Where the folds are. Okay, and then a little bit of red and that blue again and strengthen that color. Make a nice purple. Maybe a touch of black. darken it. And then wherever in between those white areas, just put a little bit of this in. Just gives it a little bit of dimension. Now if you've gone over top of your window pane, you can just take your brush, go back into that brown that we had, just go back over it. I think I'll put a little bit of shadow color on the edge of the windows, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Like that. You can do the same on the door. You don't have to, but I just like doing that. Well, you know me. I love detail. Now you could use a Posca too. You got to put a doorknob on too. That looks cute. Okay, let's put a doorknob on. I'm just going to use black. So a little knob, and then just a little thing coming down. I'm going to use a little bit of this black again, and too much water on my brush. Just make this circle where the hubcap would be. And like that. Kind of dry brush. That. Alright, that looks cute. Now these signs can be white. And then we'll just put a little bit of shadow underneath, so it shows a little bit of thickness. You could also make them different colors if you wanted to. That. Now under here I'm going to put a little bit of black on my brush, but kind of watered down. And right under here where the trailer would be, I'm going to darken that area. Because that would be darker. We'll be casting a shadow. That looks cute. Okay, let's put some skin color on. So I can take a little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, white, and just a bit of blue, a smidgen of blue. And we'll get a little bit of a skin tone there. You can make yours whatever skin tone you want. And then I'm going to paint her nose. And her hands. And let's put some marks on her stockings. So I'm just going to use pink. And I'm just going to put little stripes. Nothing fancy. Cute. Okay, so let's make a bit of gray up again. So we have the white, just a touch of yellow or black. And I'm going to use this for the very end of the beard. And just sweeping it up along the edges. And then just a little bit underneath the nose. That. And just, you can go a little bit underneath the hat because it would be darker shaded there. So just a bit under the hat. That. And we have a little carrot that the gnome is carrying, so we can add a little bit more red to that mix, a yellow to make it more orange. And let's paint that little carrot. Oh, it needs to be a little bit darker. So it's different than the hand. Like that. And then some green. So see, these leaves and stuff are very simple. So you're just dabbing. Add a few more in there where we get covered up. Okay, that's cute. And a little bit of this dark color of that carrot color. You could actually use that for just underneath the nose, just to shadow that a bit. Same with the hands. You could put a little bit of that in there. That. Not much, just a little bit. And then a little bit of white on top of the nose. So just a little, maybe on the hand too. I'm going to put a little bit on the shoes. That. It's cute. Now I'm going to take a watered down consistency of a little bit of red. So you want your brush to have a little bit of water in it. And I'm just right along the edge, just paint a little bit of red. And along the underneath of the hat, a little bit of that red. It's very watered down. There's little marks in the hat too, like little folds, I guess, or wrinkles. That. It just brings that out a little bit. And you could do the same for the shoes underneath. Too much water. You don't have to. I'm getting kind of picky where the shadows would be. I'll show you in a minute. If you can't see, it looks cute. And then that this color, that a little bit of the orangey shade, mix that with a little bit more white, and you could put a little bit of shadow in the dress on the bottom too, if you want, where it would be shaded. So along the beard there. Be a little bit more shadow in there. You just have to make sure it's not the same color as your carrot and hands. That's cute. All right, now, oh yes, the signs, just that gray, that light gray, because we painted these white, so just using that gray underneath each of these signs, you just put a little line of gray. And that'll give them a dimension. And if there's any little nicks or whatever in there, you can add that. Little cracks. Okay. Oh, this is cute. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a Posca, a black Posca, or any kind of acrylic pen marker, a fairly small size though, and I'm going to make some garland. So like that. And then I'm just going to add a little line like this, just below that garland string. And this is going to be where we're going to hang a few Easter eggs. So you can take whatever color you want, and you could use markers for this, and just put in some ovals. And they don't have to be huge or anything. You can make them how big you want, but it's just a little garland. Oop, kind of messed with that one. Let's take it up. Let's see if we can fix this. There we go. I'm going to try a little bit of white with that. Just bring them, see if I can get them a little brighter. That's better. Oh. There we go. There's the little blue ones. Cute. And some red ones or purple, whatever color you want to do. Let's do some. That one will have to be do a couple purple or orange. Let's do orange. So use a bit of white on this one. Some purple. Or orange, sorry. Alright, there's our little garland. And we can add a carrot just to the end here. That and a little bit of this, color it in. It's cute. And then again the greens for the leaves. That. That's cute. I like it. Okay, so let's give that a good dry, and we'll put on the writing on the sign. All right. Actually, I think I want to put, no, we can put the writing on the signs, I guess. So we had, you can put whatever you want. So I had eggs, this might be a little bit, I think I need a finer one. I'll try it. I'll just put carrots. Bunny. Hen house. Okay. That's cute. So we'll let those dry. So while that's drying, I want to take a bristle brush, or yeah, let's try this fan brush. This is a scruffy one though, and I'm just gonna dip the end of my brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a little bit of marks to represent grass. Especially along the edge here. So I'm just gruffing it, like I'm pouncing it and then pushing it forward. And vary up some of your colors. Might be a little maybe darker in the background. So you could add a little bit more depth back there. Or maybe there's shadows too. Or when you get closer towards you, it's darker. I think that looks cute. I like it. All right, I think that looks cute. So now, I think I'm going to put a little bit more blue sky in there, and then I think we're done. So, a bit more of a bluer sky. Just here and there, peeking through. So just do that, cover that, I'll dry it. And then what I'll do is I'll go back over it. Let's put a little bit more over here. Maybe just a few little spots in here. Like that. Maybe some in here. Like that. Okay, let's try that. Okay, I was just looking at that grass. I want to, where did I put it? Just add a little bit more light green. So I'm going to take some of this right in here. Just think this needs to be a little lighter, just around her feet, around here. Like that. That's better. Okay, so with a sponge again, we got to make sure it's you don't have any other paint on it. I might have to get another one. I think this is too green now. Just rinsing it. Let's see if I can get it clean. Might be clean enough. I want to take, no, I guess I didn't have to. Some of that green. And then just here and there, around those areas, I just dab in some of this over top. That way it kind of gives that impression of different trees and whatnot over top of it. Yeah, that looks good. All right. So let's take a look at it. I think it's done. I think I might put a little bit of gray between her legs as a shadow. Up her, oh, those pom-poms, we didn't do those. That's right. So let's get, if you have a marker or a Sharpie pen, something cheap in case you wreck it, or if you have a really super fine, yeah, this will do. I'm just gonna squiggle those pom-poms in. So they're so small, it's going to be hard making those with paint. So we'll just put them in ourselves with this pen. Just rub the pen off on the side with some paper, and that way, yeah, that looks better. And then maybe a little bit in the very bottom of the beard, along the sides of that gray that you put in the beard, and around the hat, maybe a smidgen under the nose and the hand, just to have that stand out a little bit. Just helps bring it forward. You don't want it to disappear. I'm going to put some of those wrinkles in the carrot. Yeah, that looks good. Don't put too much in though. I think that's good. We can actually, if you want to, you can outline the Easter eggs so they show up a little more. That's cute. Very loose. And then just put a ring around the rope so it looks like they're hanging properly. That, I'm gonna outline this carrot, maybe put some leaves in, and just on the bottom of the sign I think I'm going to put a little bit of black, like that. Yeah, that looks good. Wipe my pen off, and I think I'm done. Don't think I have anything else. I think it looks good. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. I think it's so cute. Okay, so I'll get this paper, wax paper out. So here's our little gnome getting ready for the spring, getting back to the campground and enjoying some Easter at the same time. I think he turned out really cute. All right, so I guess I will let you go. I hope you'll give this a try. And you'll find the traceable in the community membership page, so make sure to check for that. And it's also in the Patreon on the community page. All right, so have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.